And welcome to Impactology, Thinking Global, Acting Local, Bridging Gaps. I'm Okeino Oakley, and it is an absolute privilege, it is a huge privilege to be moderating this conversation and about something we all have a hand in, creating impact. And that starts in our own backyard, and it can really echo throughout the world. And we have some amazing people in the panel and sitting in the audience. They're all in the same space, same mindset. And like I imagine that there's others in here that have the same similar mindset. And I'm looking to learn as much as we are looking to share. We often think global change starts far away, but it's driven by local initiatives, community leadership, and people willing to think beyond borders. Today, we're going to explore how local initiatives are scaling, what challenges we face in bridging those gaps, and how sustainability, partnership, transforming that impact is made. All right. I'm going to take a moment and just introduce our absolutely wonderful panelists up here today. This is Miss Kimberly Jackson-Johnson. We have Miss Chasity Pritchett, Josh Jones, and Miss Sonya Phillips.
Hey y'all!
All right, so Kimberly Johnson is a community leader driving equitable education initiatives, and bear with me. Chasity is a founder and advocate building sustainable empowerment models. Is that about it? I'm gonna you by all means please introduce yourselves. Actually, Kimberly, the microphone is right there in front of you.
Hello. Okay, so Kimberly Jackson, and I am the CEO of United Community Solutions. It's a behavioral health practice based out in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chasity Pritchett, and I am the owner and founder of Emblem Olive Oil. We are an extra virgin and infused olive oil company helping to promote the health and providing Americans with quality and flavorful olive oil.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Jones. I am the CEO of Neighborhood. We're an economic mobility nonprofit based out of Chesapeake.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sonya Z Phillips, and I am the owner of Stretch Couture and Sustainability, two fashion and lifestyle brands. And I am also the executive aide to Chief Torgbe Volo Yingor first in the village of Volo, Ghana. Thank you.
All right, myself, Okeino Oakley, Class A general contractor, builder here in Chesapeake, Virginia, and we are also looking to do some expansion building in Nairobi, Kenya, as well as with Dr. Ward here out in is it Ghana? Uganda. All right. So finding out from just being in this panel and just in this last half hour that there's already so many like minds up here. All right. So let's jump right into it. I'd like to start with a big picture, global perspective. All right. So for our panelists here, how can local initiatives scale to create meaningful global impact? So we're going to give about 2 minutes each on each one of those questions. Please, anyone to start?
Okay. Okay. I believe that globally impactful, it starts when you start solving like a real problem. Immediate need, what is the need in your own community? And, once you recognize that need exists, and then you start implementing that where that need is around the world.
Oh, okay. So for me, my perspective on that is how you are personally inwardly. So I think it starts there, like where and how you can help yourself first and making sure that you are okay, you are in a good place, and that is from our health, that's from financial, that's from relational things and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that it started there for me, like taking care of myself, and then I was able to discover other initiatives, other things that I could do using what I had to make change. And I guess we'll talk about more of that as we go down this panel. But yes, it start for me within me, and then it goes local, state, national, globally, and things like that. So I think that we missed that concept. So it starts with us first. That's where the change starts.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I would say, the key word for me in that question that you asked, how can local initiatives scale to create meaningful global impact? How do they grow? My father-in-law just built a loft bunk bed for my oldest son, my 15-year-old. And watching this thing come together piece by piece was really just extraordinary. I have no earthly idea how he did that. But what the word that kept coming to my mind as I'm watching him put this thing together that he had been working on for months and months was just alignment. And so, when we're thinking about scaling local things that are going on, I think at the local level, so often the things that we're trying to get working aren't, because there's just not alignment. And that's alignment with either the other nonprofits in our area, that's not alignment with local government, that's not alignment with the communities that we're serving. That alignment is super key. And so then from there, I think things can actually begin to scale and move from local to global.
So for me, what resonated was collaborative partnerships. And so I think that is how you can scale anything. And, so often we want to, I'm an only child, so I'm used to doing stuff by myself. I had to learn to ask for help. I had to learn how to let people help me. And, sometimes you have to go out and seek the help that you need. And, for me, my experience is when I show up for other people, when I meet the need that's out there, we'll see the bigger picture, and usually it helps me too. So my big thing was collaborative partnerships and building relationships, working within your network and your network's network. And what I came up with is that relationship currency isn't traded on Forex, but is extremely valuable.
Okay, please.
I just wanted to add just a little bit with me having a product, and when you think about scalability, right, the first thing that you think of is growth. But I've learned that when you want to help other people, it's not about the growth as far as scalability, but it's about the clarity. What is your why? Why are you doing this? And I think if you continue to lead with that, then you will end up making such a big global impact, not just locally, but also globally.
Yes,
So
that's what I mean.
That's perfect. So, so what I took from that is that scale starts with yourself. It starts from within, and then it goes into structure, right? So that way we can actually, it kind of turns from structure into storytelling, and then into the doing. So that is a great way of answering that, team. For myself as a builder, I always just believe in people, because with anything that you're gonna do, it's not about how much you can do. One person can't do anything. When it comes to when it comes to impacting the global scale, you can believe in yourself, but it takes a team. And for me, teamwork makes the dream work. And the more people you can connect with that are of like mind and like spirit, you can go a long way. All right. So my next question for our panelists here: what are some common? Then this is about bridging gaps, right? So what are some common challenges in connecting local actions to global outcomes, and how can they be addressed? I think this one impacts everyone.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I just had two, the lack of cultural context and resource limitations. So when I first found out I was gonna do a fashion show in Ghana, I'm used to doing fashion shows here. Hey, if I want to do a fashion show tomorrow, I could. I go find a restaurant. I call my girls. I got some stuff. Let's pop up at Uno's on the patio. We're gonna do this thing. But it's not that easy, So my cousin was telling me, hey, you need to, see for yourself. It's not like here. It's not like here. So I'm talking to my assistant over there in Ghana, because he's the man. He can get anything you want in Ghana, okay? I'm like, yeah, Lucas, I just, want to do a fashion show, and, can you find us a place and get us a DJ? And it just, was very different. And they were moving super slow because taking their time, so I had to be patient. I had to learn to be patient. And so like I said, it was a whole different thing. But when I tell you, I had to give him a gold star because they took a courtyard that was a soccer football field earlier that day and transformed that thing into a red carpet. I mean, it was a sea of people. They were out there, and it was amazing. And then the other thing that I just wanted to say was about the communication with the team, WhatsApp. I think that the resource limitations was it, but we communicated through WhatsApp. We did emails. So even though I never met this guy, I couldn't see what was going on. We made sure we kept communication.
Yeah, I think Hampton Roads can serve in a lot of ways as like a microcosm of like what's happening globally. So 7 cities, 7 incredibly disconnected cities, and that doesn't mean completely disconnected. I think we are working and fighting hard to find that interconnectivity, but we all know that even in fighting for that, we have lots of areas of disconnection in our region. And I think that can be a microcosm of like what's going on globally. And so as we talk about, bridging gaps, in our line of work at Neighborhood, we're a holistic workforce development, economic mobility nonprofit. So I live in the world of low-income communities that are full of grit and determination and motivation and hunger for employment. But I also work in the world of employers who are consistently telling us no one wants to work. Well, how can those two things be true at the exact same time? And oddly enough, those two worlds are true at the exact same time. And so what Neighborhood is trying to do is we're trying to bridge these two worlds. That gap between those is what we call a tragic gap. And so Neighborhood's like creating this economic superhighway, bridging those gaps. And I think a key thing for both local and global is that you need to find those gaps. You need to find those areas that no one's able to fill. You need to figure out where the bridge is missing or what elements of the bridge is missing. And then again, like I said earlier, and then bring those things into alignment.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I mean, that was so good. I don't have to answer every question. But, for me, coming in a space of olive oil and health, so I help people get off of chronic medication. If you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol. And so my focus is helping people to learn how to cook with good quality olive oil. And so, but that may not be the same issue in another country, right? They may not, we, a lot of times, we have these markets, but we go to the grocery store. In other countries, they go right there to their market or their outdoors and they're able to get their own fresh food. So I think it's important to learn that culture where you're trying to help. And sometimes that takes humility in order to do that, right? And then also learning, be that need that they need, right? Like as far as it may not be food in other countries, it may be the educational piece. So I can take the education that I know. I am an olive oil sommelier, and I can teach them the things that about olive oil that they may not receive. So I think just coming together, is helping with that barrier.
Yeah, all of y'all like hit it on the nail. But what I would definitely add to that is, say like I went through things in my personal life. And so what I learned in my journey was my voice was no longer small. So I didn't realize that my voice and my posture here on earth could make an impact, because I'm like, there's so many other people that are doing things. They're famous people. They would have done it, or they probably beat us to it. And that is not true. So I think it starts, like, again, my language is going to be, it starts with the self, because I could have held back on believing that, and I would not have been the voice for breast cancer survivors, because I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I would not have, I did a project in Ghana where I built a well over in El Suba community. And to me, that could have been like, oh, I'm not capable of doing something like that, but I did. I had the conversations, and I did that, and so I feel like we have to really believe in ourselves. And in my practice, there are day-to-day things that are happening in behavioral health. People are homeless, people are starving right here in Hampton Roads. And so you would think that these things do not exist. And it's like, okay, if I was to leave it to other people to just saying, like, again, my voice is small, they're not gonna listen to me. Things that came to the table recently would not have come to the table. So our voice is important. I know we hear it all the time, but I am living proof that you have to put yourself at the table, really. You have to like advocate, you have to get out there. So I think bridging the gap for me is us stepping up individually, and that's making the local, state, global, all that type of impact. So believing in ourselves can bridge so many gaps, and being authentic. We're in a place where technology is taking over. You don't know who's emailing you, you don't know who's texting you. So we have to keep that personal touch on things, and that is going to bridge a major gap in the future of where we're going. So keeping that on your radar as you're growing, expanding, and thinking about new ideas and things like that. So that's what I would add to the importance of bridging gaps.
Add one more thing. So another way to bridge a gap that I want to add is I'm a member of an international organization. It's called Zonta International, but we do have local clubs. And so I was a member for from 2007 to 2014. I left, and then I just came back about 2 years ago. And the way it works, Zonta is a non-governmental organization that has consultative status with the UN. And so when we fundraise locally, 1/3 of everything we do locally affects projects that they're doing with the UN all over the world. So even if, like how Kimberly was saying, as an individual, you could join a bigger group. So your membership, your fundraising, your collection of sanitary items can help women or whatever your mission is. So alignment, find an organization that's in alignment with your beliefs, and maybe just you can support them just with membership. And then so the club I'm in now is an e-club, and so it's only 2 of us here in Hampton Roads. And so I do in-person events because I just like being outside. You know, those of y'all that know me know I love being outside. But just me by myself showing up somewhere with literature about this organization makes a difference. So I agree with Kimberly. So you individually, your voice matters, and you can join something bigger to make a global impact.
Wow. Yeah, it's hard to follow after you four. But challenges like to me, I feel like challenges like funding, awareness, partnership, and scalability are all just thrown together for anyone who's trying to much less establish your own personal business or your LLC or et cetera, but also trying to make an impact both locally and globally. So yeah, there's so much there that's been spoken by by our panelists here that I'm actually jotting down notes as we're talking.
Well, I'm recording, so I'll send you the recording through Google Photos.
So let's continue on because I want to make sure I honor everyone's time here for our panelists and for our guests. So guys, if our next question is going to be about strategy and innovation. All right, so can you share strategies that you've been successful in turning local programs into globally recognized efforts?
Okay, I guess I'll start.
I like that anyone can grab the mic and go. I love that.
Right. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, it could have went 2 ways. I could have, which I wanted to keep it to myself. I didn't want to share with people. I was ashamed, embarrassed, I was scared, it was a lot of things. And so instead of using it in that way, I turned it into, again, using my voice to help other ladies. And so that became like part of my platform. So there you go with there's authenticity. There's authenticity. There's being, so it's being authentic and using my story. And so that was part of the strategy to get the message out to other people that this is a cause that, that needs to be addressed and things like that. So I was able to use that, but it wasn't just for me, but it was for other people. I really saw how I was treated, how I had to go through all this treatment and just confused, and I didn't know, I didn't have the knowledge. So my thing was, let me teach other people, let me use this to advocate, and then it turns into other stuff. People want to hear your story, and you know, it's like, can you do this interview or that interview? I'm not thinking like that when I'm putting it out there, but those are the things like I use what happened to me to be impactful to other people, so it opens up other doors. So that's one thing. And then owning a behavioral health practice, I am able to, I got appointed to the board of social work, which we hire several social workers, social workers. And then from there, I did the work, I'm doing the work in that, and I'm traveling to ASWB, which is the governing body for social workers, right? That's the national level. I was contacted to run to be on the board at large for ASWB. So actually last week I was in Indiana, I had to give a speech. I was up against another lady who had served for a while and actually won. So that was the first time that Virginia was able to represent this national board. So Virginia, yes, so Virginia has a say on this board and we haven't. But now I'm able to share, like, these are the discrepancies that are happening where, you know, a lot of people can't pass the test, supervision is not enough. So I'm able to now go to work with these different schools, like, hey, what are the issues that you're having with your students and things like that, and now Virginia can have a voice on this national board and bring it back and things like that. So that's what I'm saying, like, I never saw that I would be capable of doing something like that. I wouldn't have known that Virginia was never represented on this national board. And so I had Canada voted for me, you know, Louisiana, all the states, you know, we all come together. And so they saw that we were impactful enough to be on that board, so we're on that board now, Virginia. So that's another way, that's strategy as well, like using where you are, what you have. And that started from me having a behavioral health practice, wanting to have a voice, wanting to disclose things that was going on and how we can change it and things like that. So that's been part of my journey as far as strategy.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll just share real quick. 2004, around there, my family moved into South Norfolk, low-income community in Chesapeake, beautiful, incredible low-income community in Chesapeake, and started neighboring, you know, getting to know our neighbors. It's a crazy thought. Just being in their home and they're in our home and just getting to know our neighbors and learning their stories and then learning our story. And that kept growing and this thing started happening in our neighborhood and we didn't really know what to do about that. We had been really a part of neighboring, being a part of helping our neighbors while they were experiencing poverty, but we didn't really know how to help our neighbors get out of poverty. There's a big, big difference there, okay? And so we got connected with a group out in Denver called Cross Purpose, a career and community development program. And where I'm going with this, when we talk about strategy and innovation, we can spend a whole lot of time thinking about, you know, strategy and innovation. Those are two really big words. To me, the best strategy and the best innovation is to have an open hand. Okay, so that organization, we flew their CEO to spend time with our family in South Norfolk. He came for 3 days with an open hand. Okay, after he left, they gave us their program and said, we're not going to franchise this, we're going to give you a shell of this, we're going to help you get started, open hand, open hand, open hand. And so I think as we're all doing this incredible work in our communities, we get really siloed quick. And so the best strategy and the best innovation is to open up your hands and say, we're doing really good stuff, and how can we be a part of what you're doing, and how can you take what we have and we take what you have, and that's where really that partnership, that strategy, that innovation, I think really starts coming together.
So,
I'm gonna, for everyone in this room, like, listen to the patterns here that this panel is just talking about, because these aren't just like strategies, these are playbooks that they're going through here. Please.
okay. So, for me, I'm a person that's just like, you know, outside. I meet people, I like to know what people do, I like to share. So that's my strategy, is just tell people what I got going on and ask people what they got going on. So like, one of the things I learned a long time ago, I've been a Mary-Kay representative 3 times. It's not for me, I don't do it now, but I've tried 3 times. And so often, you out here trying to build your team, and the person right next to you be like, oh yeah, I just joined Mary-Kay. And I'm like, well, why didn't you sign up under me? Well, you never asked me. You know, so I think the strategy is to ask for what you need and then, be visible. So the visibility part, as a digital storyteller, like right now I'm recording. So now I can share this, what we're doing right here, with the world on my social media. And that's how I've really been able to build up what I'm doing in Ghana with my fashion show and what the chief is doing, because every time I go somewhere, I'm pulling out my camera, but I'm sharing my experience.
Yeah.
But not only just sharing my experience, so Josh, tell me about it. So I can go back and I can share their experience as well. So a lot of people have an idea of what Africa is like because of, I grew up the age with the feeding children, the little barefoot babies, and all they got is the rice bowl. And Africa is beautiful. But people wouldn't know because they just see what they see. So it's my job to share what I've experienced and what I've seen, and invite other people to go with me.
What, would you like
Okay, yeah, I can answer.
reset? All right.
I can answer that question, but if you need
Please.
to move on.
No,
Okay.
please.
Okay. My company is Emblem Olive Oil, but within the olive oil, I created a nonprofit which is called Let's Fight Back Foundation, and it's a free program, and I help people with chronic illness. In 12 weeks, if you do exactly what this plan is, I go off the Mediterranean diet, and we use olive oil, which is a medicine. I'm not here to promote that part, but I can talk about that all day. But, I'm helping people to get off medication by following this easy plan. I meet with you, I talk to you face to face. Now, the owner of the company, who has a million things to do, but I set aside that time to speak with individuals who want to live longer and healthier lives. So then you look, I'm in the olive oil. So olive oil, most of the olive oils come from other countries, Greece and Spain and all those. So I develop partnerships with those individuals who are producers of olive oil. But not only that, I take it a next step. I want to be able to have impact as we are globally. So what are the top countries that have the highest chronic illnesses? Bulgaria is one, and Hungary is another one. So I take what I'm learning here locally and making an impact and connecting with those countries with their nonprofits. And then we can get into that. How do we connect with other countries, and what they're doing? So they have nonprofits within their own organization that are doing some of the work that I'm doing. But I want to be that missing piece when it comes to the education and how to use olive oil. So, yeah.
Brilliant.
Girl, I need to sign up.
Yes. Our next session is February, y'all.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
like,
Okay.
yes. It's a faith-based organization. So anytime you put God first,
Yes.
miracles happen.
Win.
That's so true.
I think we're going to stay on that same vein of collaboration and partnership, right? Because I think that's going to be, I know that's one of the biggest questions I always have when trying to think about how to make that impact globally. So I'm sure there's others that are in here thinking the same thing. So how important are cross-sector partnerships and amplifying local initiatives on a global scale? Josh, you kind of finished off on that on your last thing. So do you mind jumping in and starting for us on that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're all here because we believe in the power of partnerships. That's why we're in a room like this. Okay, I mean, there's no universe by which any one of us have all the answers to the things that our world needs. I think what happens though is that we think about partnerships and we think about, how can we work together? That is not a bad way of thinking about partnerships, by the way, but I think that is a very small way of thinking about partnerships. When I talk about that alignment piece, I think the bare minimum is how can we work together? But the real work is, how does our work come together? How do we synergize? How do we blend so much of our work? I just got done reading a book called Unreasonable Hospitality, and this Will Giarda started a restaurant in New York City, became the #1 restaurant in the world. The book is about the restaurant world and how his journey to become the best restaurant in the world, but the book is really not about restaurants. It's about how do we do things that are unreasonable. And so I think when we're looking at partnerships, we think so small.
Yes.
And we need to be thinking unreasonable. What could we do together that everyone else would say, including us, that's not going to work. Go do that. Okay? Find people around you that are like, that won't work. Let's absolutely go do that. And you know what? We may fall down 105 times, but the work of thinking that way is going to exponentially scale our partnerships in what we do.
Tingles in the back of the head right there. Failure is necessity.
Yeah, right.
All right. Please.
And that is everything Josh said was just amazing, and that's true. When you think about olive oil, you don't think about contracts, right? Nobody thinks about government contracts. But I knew initially, like, this is the area that I want to get in. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I had no idea, but I reached out to the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, and I'm like, hey, this is what olive oil can do for the people. This is, whatever that language was, that's what I said. They came back and said, we're working on a program. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this program. Whatever the program is, if it's involving with olive oil, I want to be a part of it. So I end up getting on a call, helping them to create this solicitation. And not just because I helped them did not mean I was gonna get that bid. And so this solicitation ended up being for Native Americans. So I had no idea that because I reached out, I wanted that partnership with USDA, not knowing how it was gonna look, but I took the chance because as a business owner, and you believe in yourself, that's what you have to do. Right. It came out, that bid came, and I won that bid. And so now my olive oil is on Native Americans reservations. I get DMs in my, DMs on social medias with these, the Indians, they're like, hey, this your olive oil? You're talking about God. I mean, I'm just blown away at like the ministry of olive oil and what it's doing and connecting all of us. So,
I love it. And as man, I hate that we're on the clock. I hate this. But please continue, guys.
I'll just read my thing real quick. So I was just saying that collaboration is everything, and cross-sector partnerships create shared ownership, which leads to a global reach. And I think impact grows faster when outcomes are mutually beneficial. So I think sometimes going into it, not only, what is going to help me, but what's going to help my partners as well. And so my example was when preparing, we are preparing to start hemp farming in Ghana. And that hemp, the goal is industrial hemp, to do hemp concrete, hemp plywood, building materials. And it's not just about us building materials, but what that's going to do is bring over 400 jobs. And so we, just being there and just networking, we were in the airport the first time I went, and he connected with somebody in the airport, which led to a nonprofit that is partnering with us to build a state-of-the-art hospital in Volo, which will serve over a 100-mile radius. And then because of my particular connections, I talked to a professor at Norfolk State that took some people to Ghana. And I'm like, hey, how can y'all come to our village? So working with this hospital, they gave us a little bit of a curriculum. So now we're in talks with Norfolk State and several universities in the U.S. to develop the curriculum in health sciences and agriculture, which will support cultural study abroad programs for students at different universities. And then also because of networking, a friend in my network, so I went to Ghana, sent me a video of this Ghanaian guy that made an AI app to help diagnose patients and also create pharmaceutical formulations. So I DM'd him on LinkedIn. We got to talking, come to find out he's from our village. And so now I'm putting him in touch with the hospital. So he's going to be going to a meeting. So possibly when they build this hospital, he's going to be a part of a hospital being built in his village using his AI technology. So it was all about networking.
That's good.
Please, I can allow you. Hey guys, I'm an East Coast guy. We party till they kick us out. So please continue.
I would just add to what everyone else is saying. Like I am the secretary of on the board of Montero Medical Missions, so they travel all over the world, like doing eye exams and prosthetics, and it goes on and on. So my part in joining the board is to create the behavioral health model to introduce this into other countries, because it's a stigma when you address mental and behavioral health. So those are some of the projects that that I am able to be a part of with the organization that was already in existence. And so when I go, now it's something that they've already established, but I'm adding the behavioral health component. So I would say don't be afraid to join other organizations that the wheel is already rolling, you know what I'm saying? And then you're able to get on and say like, hey, let me add my expertise, and boom, there you go, representing a global initiative and project and things like that. So do not be afraid to collaborate in that way, serving. So when you serve, it will lead to other opportunities. So we can't just always chase money, but make sure that the time that you're spending in serving, that it's for a bigger cause. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense. It's in alignment with where you're going and things like that, and that it's still going up and up and up, and not, you know, down or knocking you down. So yeah, I would say research other organizations, collaborate with those organizations, and use your time wisely, and don't be afraid to volunteer and serve. And then when you are serving, just know that you may not be seen right then and there, but when you keep working and just have your eyes set on exactly what you're doing, other stuff is going to attract to you, other collaboration, partnership. So do not worry about which your goal is and outcome. Just make sure that you're on the right pathway to where you know that this thing can take you. So don't put your eyes too much on the end result. And I've had to do that, and I know that it works for me.
Yeah. All right, guys. You all, I mean, just absolutely did amazing with that space. We're gonna jump to a portion. We're gonna almost treat it like a lightning round, right? So, if we're gonna talk about our actual takeaways in closing here, because I want to start picking people's brains. So, if there's one thing that you want the audience to take away, like one action that they can start today to make a global difference, like, what would it be? Please.
So I would say start with what really matters to you, and then focus on that. So whatever's putting you, just take the leap. Just if you're standing on the sidewalk, jump off of it. You know what I'm saying? So just get off of it. Like no longer stand or sit where you are. Just get up, move. That's what I would say. Like if you're stagnated, then push yourself. You see what I'm saying? Or find somebody else that's going to help push you as well. So do not stay where you are. Just know that all of us are built with something inside of us, and it's time more than ever to let the world see it.
I would say that if you start focusing on a problem that's locally, you become excellent in solving that problem, then I believe that you will be able to continue to grow into, globally. And also, stay curious about what's going on in the world. Yeah. We like to hide from the news, but I love the news. Like I can tell you what's going on in Georgia. That's where I'm from. Anything going on in anything, anywhere. They always say, you know what about everything. Yeah, because I'm curious and I want to know what's going on in the world that I live in.
Yeah, I think my takeaway would just be the encouragement to whether, no matter what it is that you're jumping into, this is such great advice. Whatever it is that you're just jumping into, do it with excellence and do it big. I think so much time, and I'm in the nonprofit space, so I can only speak to that right now, but I think so many nonprofits in general create a nonprofit because they have an idea and their nonprofit is their program. That's not the goal. You need a business. You need an organization that's sustainable, long-term, solid, deep, okay? And then you run programs out of that. So much of the nonprofit space is just, man, I'm a program. No, you're not. You need a business. And so, yes, jump in, Do it off of your passion, but then build it well, build it deep. Think big on that, and I think that is going to then allow it to sustain and not be a flash in the pan or a drip in the bucket.
So for me, as a fashion designer, I kind of went back to my roots of where I started. My mom didn't have a lot of money. I had a thrift, and I wore it as a cloak of shame. You know, I went through, but that one thing now, I have a business, and it's called sustainability. I feel a little different, but my advice to all my students through that program is start with what you have. Start with where you are. Like, I've created programs where with $1.25, you can go to the Dollar Tree and get a needle and thread and start a business. You know, or you can fix your stuff. You know, it's up to you what you want to do with the skill. And it definitely are mental health benefits to sewing.
Yes.
So I do
Oh,
workshops around that. But my takeaway would be start with what you have and just start.
That's great.
For me in that space, I'm gonna say that the last, let's say, 10 years, we've all seen it, we all feel it, whether we want to talk about it or not. It feels like so many people are focused on the idea of, I can do this on my own, or building a wall, But me in the building space, from either just the basics or building an office, a home, whatever it is, I'm more into building bridges. Your relationships to me are key. So I think that's my only takeaway. I don't like building walls. I don't like the whole idea of building walls. I like to build a bridge.
The quote that I love is, instead of building taller fences or more fences, just build longer tables.
Yes.
Well, like
that
that.
note.
Mic drop.
Phil, thanks for recording this, because I'm gonna need that.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, please, I want to open this up to anyone if you have any kind of questions for our esteemed panelists.
You need a mic?
Probably do. So I don't want to keep you all here because I'm a little
This
bit.
side so I can record you.
I'm a little long-winded.
Come here, you can take
So take your place.
my- Oh yeah, right there.
So I have really been inspired by this panel, and I didn't know what to expect because I think globally a lot. Global, it makes me. I was intrigued by what was going to be presented, but I'm hearing Ghana. I'm hearing international. It's Bulgaria. I mean, we talking all these things, and it's really intriguing. My question is, what started the spark in your heart for global? Because it always starts with something. For me, it was a need to go back to Africa and make an impact. So what was the spark for you to think global?
Well, I can share my story. So, growing up here in Hampton Roads is racially mixed. I went to Greenbrier Christian Academy as a child. I was the only black person in my 3rd grade class. And a missionary came, and we sat on the floor, Indian style. Back then I could sit Indian style. And I was, kind of picked out. Like, I was just looking at his pictures, and they went to like Papua New Guinea, and they skin tone like mine, their hair coarse like mine. But he also talked about different things that were not positive. And for me, I didn't recognize that. I was just so enthralled with like, oh wow, look at the people, look at the culture, they look like me, and some of the things he said were off-putting. And when I got home that night, I'm so excited, telling my mom about this experience, and I want to go to Papua New Guinea, I want to travel the world, but she took away the negative things that he said about my hair texture and the skin tone and things. And she burnt rubber to go back to that school and make him come there and apologize to me. But the very first time I was going to travel abroad, I asked myself, why? Why do I care about women all over the world that I don't know, that are suffering? Why do I care about these other people? And that's the memory that came up for me, was sitting on that floor, looking at this missionary share about these Papua New Guinea and how he took the word of God. It was, a Christian mission thing, but how he helped these people, even though he had some things to say that weren't in alignment with with me and who I am. I didn't take that way. It took my mom to be like, oh no, you're not gonna talk about my baby like that, you know. So it was that memory for me is what came up when I asked myself why I like to do this.
Yeah, I grew up, I'm the son of a General Motors family. All my grandparents, aunts, uncles, parents, everyone was in the General Motors plants growing up. And my parents worked really, really hard to keep me and my brother away from poverty. And in doing so, kept us too far away from poverty, if that makes sense. And so there is this wall, when you think about the dividing wall separating those who have and those who do not have, I grew up on the side with have. That is my white privilege that I grew up with. And so for me, I have been a part of so many faith communities. I've been a pastor for years. So much of my life has been a part of faith-based organizations that had no desire to tear that wall down.
Right.
And so you're asking what has inspired me. For me, I moved into this low-income community 20 years ago and have been sitting underneath the greatest teachers I've ever sat underneath, and those are my neighbors. And it is now really my desire to use my privilege that I have grown up with as a means by which to empower not just my neighbors locally, but globally. How do I think about using that privilege in that way? And I think more and more individuals who look like me must think that way. Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, I started, when I started seeing results in people here from everywhere in the U.S., you know, and as far as getting healthier and losing weight, and all of these things are happening because of the olive oil and their change in diet and their mindset. And I'm thinking, you know, God, I know that you're not only here, right? Like, God is in control of all the world. And I wanted to see his goodness, not just here in what olive oil could do, but I wanted to see it in other countries. And so I just didn't want to be stuck in what was in front of me. I want to see the world that was created by him and go in those spaces and see God still actively moving in areas that I never even thought I could be in. And so that's what inspires me and keep me going as well.
So there was a short time when I was going through when I first got diagnosed with cancer, right? And my story is a whole other story, but I really had cancer in my body for like 2 years and I had no idea. So by the time when I got diagnosed, I was like, at this point, I'm waiting to see how long I have to live, because I knew I was dealing with this situation for at least 2 years or more and never had got checked, right? So it was a period of time where I had a CAT scan done or something like that, and I was going through the machine and I was like, God, just get me through this. Like, it was putting all the dye in me to see if anything traveled throughout my body. And I said, I have more life to live. And if you extend this to me, I promise it's not gonna go downhill from here. It's only gonna go up. I want you to use my life, my resources in any way, shape, form, I promise you. So got my results back, was stage 0. So from there, my friend James Aji, who's from Ghana, he contacted me and he was like, hey, how you doing? Just following up. And he was like, I'm going to Ghana in December. I was like, I'm going with you. He was like, no, you're not, because I've been saying this for years and I never would go. And so I was like, the only way I'm going to go is if I can be impactful. So this was like in August or September, and I said, I have to do something big in order for me to go. And so he was like, all right, well, I'm leaving in December. Okay, we have to get something done before December. So his old middle school, he was showing me all the students couldn't go to school because they were getting sick. The water was contaminated. So I was like, okay, well, let's put a new water system. How much is it? Like, give me all the details. He did a proposal, sent it to me, came to my office, got a check. So throughout the process, he was sending me videos and all that. And, we got it done he actually got it done the day I arrived. Like, they were running around, all kind of things like that. But it sparked from there. I knew that something was in me that was global, but I tried to live my life like I was in a shell. And life has pushed me out of the shell through health, through my personal life. And it's like, that's not where you are. So I had to realize that I am not meant to be in a box. I'm not meant to be in a shell. I am meant to be out here doing the work. So that's what sparked it for me. It was like enough is enough, but I always knew a lot was in me globally, but I didn't think I was capable. And I lived my life like that. And that's why it took me so long to even open up my business. I didn't think I was capable. But going through that, I don't have any more time to waste. So I don't care if you tell me no, I don't care if it fails, I tried. And so it's even more, I'm still doing work out there, you know, so yeah, it doesn't stop. So that's what really sparked it for me. And it's gonna keep going and going and going. I don't care what I have, it's not just for me. I don't wanna buy things here. I wanna build more wells. I want, you know, I wanna build. I want to extend my life in that way. I don't need a big house. I don't need any of that. So yeah, so that sparked the mission to actually do, but it was already in me.
God bless you all.
Yeah, now. Yeah, you see, now she see. Yeah.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
This is Impactology right here. this is Impact.
Y'all got me
Yeah.
crying.
Oh, man.
Perfect question from a brilliant mind.
Yes.
I met you last year. I met you last year at Black Diamond when you were in Impactology,
Oh.
and you were up on a panel. You and three others, and it left a great feel, and I learned so much from you that day.
Thank you.
All right.
People, I'm not even realizing that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was my first Black Diamond. This is my second, and like
Are you a vet now?
yeah. Oh no, I will be. All right. For me myself, I'm born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica. Like I'm from the bottom of the bottom. Like I mean, whatever. Many people say it, I'm sure, but like we know desperate poverty, you know. So like single mother, I've seen the determination and the impact of people who care and who'll never give up fighting. So when I hear that from this board, you guys really look extremely familiar to my soul. So that's always a real thing. So for me, I mean, I was a combat medic in the military, Iraq a couple times, Afghanistan a couple times, and seen poverty everywhere. I mean, anywhere I travel, you know, whether it looks like a tourist location, I don't hang out the tourist locations when I go travel somewhere. I go out, I want to go in and I want to see what it feels like, right? I want to, you know, I'm the guy driving around the street that, oh, it's dangerous if you go out there. I'm like, I'll find out. You know, so I've seen it so much that I just want to. I'm like, all right, there's a way of impacting and stopping someone else from falling into it, or you know, being some sort of a bridge to help people avoid some of the chaos. Like, and I see it from what's happening with young women in impoverished nations. Jamaica's big on that. Jamaica's big for that. It looks like a wonderful tourist place, but if you really, really know, it's you know, it's different to be you know, to make it out of Jamaica is a strong for strong women. So like it's yeah. So and that's to say those are things that I want to make an impact on and try to find a way to help people get you know, away from those spaces. But let me get out of here, guys. Stay dark for a minute. All right. So, guys, I want to, unless you guys have anything else for our wonderful panelists here, any other questions? Guys, Miss Ward here is doing amazing things, and you know, you really should have been a part of this too. But you know,
Next time.
Did you want to share about this?
please, I think you should absolutely share.
Yes, you
I
all
wanna
have
hear.
Come on,
blessed
we
me
want to hear
so
what you're
much
doing.
because I can resonate. What you have said has
Everything.
resonated with me. Josh, of course, brought me to tears because my heart is for kingdom work, which is us coming together and getting beyond the demonic
Yes.
strategies to keep
Yes.
us divided, you know? So you made me cry, Josh, just letting you know. And I appreciate what you shared. I appreciate and can really relate to everything everyone said. I'm just like my sister here, and I wanted to, I didn't write your name down, but Kimberly, what's your name so I can write it down while I'm.
Jackson.
Kimberly Jackson, okay, because I'm gonna get, I have to connect with each and every one of you because I'm that person, and Sonya can tell you.
Yep. She a real one, y'all.
Years ago, I have a nonprofit called Divine Concept Group. And the whole premise behind Divine Concept Group, which I didn't know when he gave me the name, was that the idea that's inside of you was his idea first. He put it in you because he trusts you with it, and he wants you to trust him with it as you take those steps that you think are impossible, that it's too big for you. Like you said, y'all just were all in my world, and everything that God gives us, it should be bigger than us. Because that's how he gives glory. Because he makes great things happen through a yes. The yes, right? When we just say yes, he makes great things happen. So with my nonprofit, it started in 2007. I'm trying to make this brief. Didn't know what I was doing, still learning. That's why I'm here, so I can continue to learn. I think learning and making yourself available to get out of your little box of fear that, I didn't want to network because I was like, oh, I got to talk to people. And I'm a bit of an extrovert, but an introverted extrovert, if that makes sense. Okay? So it's not always comfortable, but I'm learning to be more comfortable because it's a necessity, because the partnerships don't happen without human connection. So we have to talk to each other. And the enemy wants to keep us in our little box so we don't connect. And Okeino and I connected last year. We both shared comments in a session, and I found out that he was a builder, and I've had it in my heart to build in Africa because I've been helping schools a little bit. I'm not scaled yet, even since I've been with my nonprofit since 2007, but we're on our way now. But we were like, we have to work together. We have like minds, and there's so many like minds in this room. And the beauty is, it starts with just a small vision, and as you step forward, God puts the people in place in its time. Sometimes we want it to happen yesterday, but in its time, those people will come into place that are connected with the vision that he gave you. And so he's going to be working with me, and we're going to be. I just met him yesterday, y'all, and I invited him to the session because I was like, you have to be in this session. What I'm working on now, and I'm still fundraising for, is we're building the school in Uganda, and we raised this is the first time this has happened in the history of my organization, through innovation God-given. We raised $10,000 within like 2 months. Wow. And this is like crowdfunding fundraising, okay? Not big corporations or grants, but because I just said yes. So what that does is it buys the land, and it starts the foundations for the first 3 buildings, which is the first phase of the school project. When you asked about your why, I've been helping this school because they have an orphanage and they have a school, and it's a pastor. And so they need money so that they can feed the kids. Just a little money, because we didn't have a lot of money, but we were sending the little that we had, and they were like, it's Christmas. They were so happy to have the little that we take for granted and drink coffee every day, And so when I realized the buildings that they had, which were not buildings, they were wood and mud, and when the rainy season came, it destroyed their preschool building. And I was like, I didn't know this. I knew they were teaching outdoors mostly, but they had built and wanted buildings. And I was like, God, help me. How can I help? How can I help? Little me, how can I help? And how can I put my nonprofit behind this? And so now we're getting ready to start with building this school. And this is just the first phase. There are several phases. We're going all the way to library, dormitory. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know it's not going to take as long as I thought, because God is going to take care of it. Yeah. 2 other things I want to share is born out of your desire to help people and care for people and fulfill your kingdom calling, which, I know everyone's not a Christian, but I have to speak in my context, because that is my context. Out of the heart of bringing people together, and out of the heart of giving back to Africa, because that's where I come from. And for the first time, I was able to go to Kenya last year, and I'm on the board of the International College of Peace Studies there. And some of you might want to volunteer your time to be faculty to help with that. I'm actually a mental health nurse by trade. So I teach mental health first aid. I'm a certified mental health first aid instructor, and I found out that mental health first aid is nowhere in Africa. Nowhere. Because it takes a lot of money to fund the program and then build the curriculum around the needs that are there. So then that means something else has to be created, my sister. So the connections, I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but it's, oh my gosh.
It's needful.
I'm
It
so
is, it's so
sorry,
good.
but I don't want to.
No.
You're good.
You're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. The dots have connected so much with each of you in this room for me personally. So the need and the curriculum, which I was gonna start and just say, okay, mental health first aid is great, we gotta do something different because that's too costly. And the International College of Peace Studies is actually ready to help make it happen as the beginning in Kenya, and then it can be spread abroad, but you have to start somewhere. So we'll be talking about that.
And we need to add substance to it too.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely, and make it relevant.
Yes.
You know, it has to be relevant. And I started 2 different things, which was Friends for Collaborative Global Peace. And that's out of working with the peace work, out of the College of Peace Studies. And all it is people like us coming together to do this work, which is peace work. People don't really think about what peace work is. They just think not having wars. But all of this, kingdom work is peace work. You know, so the beauty of it is we had our first event in February in DC where we brought together some diplomats and like-minded people. And what we want to do is recognize people who are doing this work, celebrate them, bring them together to network, collaborate, and see what God is going to birth out of those connections, but also award them for the work that they're doing, because most of us are not looking to be sung, number one, but we're unsung. If you understand what I'm saying, and it can be thankless oftentimes, but we don't do it for that. Because, you know, I there's a poem that if you've never read it before, it's the Lion Chaser's Manifesto. Please look it up, the Lion Chaser's Manifesto. And one of the lines in that, and I'm not the best person with the memory, but it says to live for the applause of nail-scarred hands. Whew. That statement alone does something for me when I think about it, because that should be the premise upon which we do everything, is to live for that applause. That one day, we might not get it here, but it doesn't matter. God's going to be happy when his white brothers and sisters show the world what real Christianity looks like, because we come together. That's why Josh made me cry, because that's my heart. You know, because I grew up, I'm a military brat, and a veteran, and I grew up and didn't even know I was Black until somebody made sure I understood that there was a difference. You know, but I didn't stop loving. You know, I didn't stop loving, and I'm going to stop. But I want to say I appreciate you all so much. I thank y'all for the connections. The other thing I wanted to share, and then I will stop, is the African Heritage Commerce Alliance Network, which was also born out of my nonprofit. So Josh was saying you got to do other things, not just the one thing. And your olive oil, I only have 2 business partnerships, one person in Africa and one person in the US, and we wanted to bring businesses together to bridge those gaps like Josh was talking about. And so that is something that I want to talk to you about with the olive oil, because those are the divine connections, you know. So that I'm going to stop there, but thank you. You had the right people on the panel. I didn't need to be on the panel, because this was, whew.
Well, we can all thank Black Brand, the Black Brand,
Yes.
And I can relate with all of you.
for bringing us all
in every
together, because they
aspect, so
know
I'll talk to you all after that.
they know how we all think, and that's a powerful thing to be be able to find so many like minds in one space. Like I went the whole 42 years of my life and didn't know that there were like minds till last year.
Right.
So and I'll be touching down in Kenya on the 24th. And I'll be out there for the next 8 months, and we're looking to really find. We've got a network out there that we've been working with, also that feels a lot like a Black Brand, and we've been monitoring them for about 3 years now, and we're looking to find some networks that can help work with the networks that we have here to help. Again, I don't believe in walls. I believe in bridges. Right? So. We're all eager to see what that's all going to look like. So Unless you all have anything else to add, I want to make sure we can, guys, anything at all? I think you guys have been amazing, by the way. Amazing. Yeah. I want to thank our panelists for sharing their wisdom and experiences. I want to thank you all for being part of this conversation, allowing me to even hang out in your conversation. Remember that thinking global starts with acting local. The bridges, I'm kind of corny on my endings, but the bridges we built here, the communities are the same ones that connect us to the world. So, it took me forever to tie that together.
Good job. You did it. Yes.
Thank you guys.
Wow. Excellent.
So my heritage is Ghana. It's Ghanaian. It's Ghanaian.
My Ghana brother.
Yes, and doing work in Uganda and Zambia.
Okay.
And of course, Ghana with all the connections that I have. Thank you.
So my number's
This is
there.
awesome. Right, great. So you all like really connected with me based on what I was sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm really blessed to be able to hear how
You have your
much-
card so I can connect with you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have a card, but I have something to connect with. If it works.
Okay. I have a digital card too, so.
I wonder what it is.
Oh, Linktree. Oh, that's cool.
I gotta get everybody's digital.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get a picture of all of you?
Yes.
Let me try to connect. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Get in touch.
Erica,
Okay.
yes, we get my language. Oh my gosh, kingdom building, kingdom work, that's what I'm all about.
Real easy.
Oh,
But we have to make sure
Yeah,
we
we-
save it.
Yeah.
Probably have. I be outside. Hello again. Oh, who's that? Global Reach. I'm just trying to see.
Leadership Institute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello, Pat. It's nice to meet you again.
I'm fine. Yeah, I just wanna make sure I remember who
Pat.
are.
That's so awesome. We didn't even get a chance to ask anything.
I'm from Bayport.
Oh, really? Okay.
We're part of ERG.
Oh, okay.
Black community. And